Those of you who were following my posts on our Facebook site over the Advent season know that I was reading a book called Centuries of Holiness by an Episcopal priest who was raised Greek Orthodox. And he has this entry about embracing difference that I want to share with you. He says, most religious communities prefer homogeneity, a singularity of class, values, economic status, race, politics, and religious identity. Communities tend to prefer such sameness because it creates and undergirds solidarity. And who doesn't want that? Members of the community understand one another not through discourse and not through discovery, but by often unexpressed similarities of values and perspectives. The homogeneity of a community supports or expresses various perspectival preferences, and values across a wide spectrum of subjects. Such solidarity and homogeneity is not wrong or bad, but simply something that must be acknowledged. Difference, he continues, disrupts solidarity. When divergent views or races or practices or finances are introduced into a community, or when a community encounters such difference elsewhere, the solidarity and homogeneity are ruptured, and a fissure is created, a gap. That break in the facade, he says, provides us, people practicing spiritual discipline, with an opportunity for growth and transformation. But, he continues, the encounter with difference demands discriminating attention. We must not simply skim the surface of difference, but understand its depth and complexity. Underlying this attention to the details and specificity of difference is an important theological principle. All difference reflects the divinely inspired variety in the universe. So if we boil difference down, if we say, like I often do, oh, well, we're all alike at the core, and we ignore the differences that are real, we're denying, as he talks about, the divinely inspired variety in the universe. We're erasing. We're going blind. We're putting on glasses darker than this that would never work in a 3D cinema. Walking through life. He suggests that by comparing differences, we create a new solidarity. Not one of homogeneity, but of a communion with all things in the divine. Now, I want you to know that this week, our staff here at the church is going to be participating in a workshop that's going to measure our multicultural competence and look at how we engage difference as a staff. Because if we are going to be a house of prayer for all people, we need to know how we do this. We need to know how we live it, right? And so with the help of a consultant who happens to be my partner, we're also going to be, we've completed some inventories, and he'll be talking with us this week about what it looks like, how we engage difference. And this model offers a number of different ways that go on one end of the spectrum, from denying any difference at all to kind of minimizing them, and at the very end, integrating and changing, actually allowing our behavior to be changed when we know we're engaging across another difference, across culture. That we develop the capacity to actually relate with other people and change ourselves, knowing we're not giving anything up. We're actually just working to learn how to connect. Now, we're going to find out tomorrow, actually, where we are on that spectrum. And in a couple weeks, you can have the opportunity to find that out through a workshop that'll be offered here at the church. So watch your chimes, watch your bulletin, watch your flash. But if you can't make it to that, If you can't make it to something that invites you to systematically examine how you encounter difference, what I invite you to do instead is consider this. Consider 4 virtues to live by. These have been proposed by an author, Daniel Helminiak, who's written a book called Spirituality for Our Global Community. He suggests 4 virtues. So either take the class or practice the virtues. This is what I want you to do, right? This is your homework. First virtue, attentiveness, which he translates into openness. Try it this week. Try paying attention to where you are, being open to what's around you, and catching yourself with what filters you're looking at the world. So first, attentiveness or openness. Second, intelligence or inquisitiveness. Actually get curious. Don't presume that the people around you are either just like you or nothing like you. There's something in between, and you can be redirected by encounter with them. Your life, your mission, your ministry, the way you live in the world can change if you're willing to engage and be curious. 3, reasonableness or honesty. Don't try to be someone you're not. Don't try to pretend things don't bug you if they do, that it doesn't hurt when you engage difference, when someone makes assumptions about you. Be real. And 4th, responsibility, which he also interprets as love. Starting from a place of love. Taking responsibility for your life and the lives around you. Through this, Helminiak suggests he's advocating a belief and trust in the human spirit and a commitment to that prior to belief in anything else. He says, fostering a commitment to authentic personal integrity as the foundation for all spirituality, religion, personal fulfillment, community, and human progress. Now, over the next few weeks, the next 3 Sundays actually, Fred will be laying out a vision that he has here for this church and how it is going to move forward and live its dream. His vision of what and where he'd like to see the church go in the next few years. The board is going to be engaging that in its retreat work in the coming weeks. And in order to do this, in order to be successful, and by successful I don't mean necessarily accomplishing the tasks that they and we decide are on the agenda, but I mean engaging them in a fruitful, productive, and meaningful way. In order to be successful, we're going to have to engage difference in a powerful new way. We'll have to put on a new set of glasses, see things closer than we've ever seen them before, meet others, notice differences, real differences, that though they can be bridged and addressed and compensated for, cannot be and should not be erased, but need to be spoken and heard. We will need the courage and compassion and clarity to be intimately redirected. To move from denial through defense, beyond acceptance and adaptation to integration, to experience a self that is expanded to include the world. Like Jesus in the gospel story, like the Magi in the Epiphany birth narrative, we are called to clarify our mission, to continue to grow and deepen, not only in ourselves, but through our relationships with others. Through those we love and agree with, yes, and those we find most difficult and challenging. It is through our intimate encounters that we can be most powerfully redirected, transformed, and brought to life. Let this be our New Year's resolution. Amen.